Hey, Flosstube. Hi, it's Lisa coming to you from the Pacific Northwest. It is December 19th, 2021. I keep wanting to say 2022. I don't know why. In a hurry to get the year over, maybe? Could be. Anyway, hi, welcome to my Flosstube channel, my video blog about all things cross stitch, sometimes other crafty things. Um, Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I hope everyone is having a good December in spite of the general shit show. I'm sorry. I swear, like a sailor usually, not so much in these. Anyway, I apologize. Yeah, let's think some happy thoughts and talk a little bit about cross stitch. I have WIP updates, a very brief WIP parade because I am a very monogamous stitcher. I get stressed if I have too many projects going. It's one thing to have a lot of projects kitted and waiting in the wings. It's another one to have a lot of them started. That just makes me really nervous and I can't focus. So, and yeah, the ADHD diagnosis is still pending, but the more I look into it. Anyway, so I have WIPs, I have some haul, I have some plans, and I'm going to show off a couple of Christmas outfits that I made for two of my larger BJDs at the end. So, hi, welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful December and a wonderful holiday. If you just celebrated Hanukkah or Eid or Diwali, or if you're looking forward to Christmas and Kwanzaa and Yule, let's just hope that it's a merry one and that you and all yours are blessed and safe and happy and warm. So, cross stitch. If you've seen my Instagram, well, for one, it's been a while. I have not been working as much on cross stitch in the last month or so. Just been busy. Plus, I realized yesterday that the television viewing we've been watching, the anime and whatnot, have not been, for some reason, have not been conducive to stitching. Maybe because I actually want to pay attention to them instead of just stitching and half listening and looking up to catch the subtitles occasionally. I'm going to have to, I don't know, I have trouble stitching to audiobooks. I don't know why, but I may have to try that because it's not like I don't have a few to listen to. In particular, a friend's been bugging me to read Gideon the Ninth, and so I think I might just put that in as an audiobook and try listening to that and get some more stitching done. Anyway, on to the WIP update. So my primary focus right now is this one. This will do by Ink Circles. It looks a little blown out in my picture here. I hope you're catching the full glory of this pattern. This was one that I think the local shop posted it on their Facebook feed, and I saw it, and it was just instant, give me hands, must have, give it, give it, give it. So I just emailed them and said, kit it, send it to me. So I am working it on the called for linen and the called for DMC. I'll pop the top off of the Q-snap. Ooh, Christmas tree lights through the back. Someday I will make myself that quilt piecing thing to put behind things. Anyway, as you can see, I'm done with the top, the thistle part. I have started the stem and the leaves. These have been a little frustrating. For some reason, it's kind of easy to get lost on them. I'm working off a copy. I always photocopy my patterns, and I should probably mark off the ones I've done or something because it would be easier to keep track because I had to frog both of these leaves. This one 3 times and this one twice before I actually got them in correctly. But I'm really excited. I am off for the next week. Yay, Christmas holiday! And I'm hoping I can finish this one. Actually, it would be nice to finish it this weekend, but I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, that's the one I'm working on the most right now. The other one I've been working on is for a gift for someone for next year, and it is this Mirabilia kit, Christmas Elf Fairy. I keep calling it the Christmas Elf, but it's a Christmas Elf Fairy. Must remember that. Anyway, I think it's new this year. It's only been available as a kit. I like it. And like I said, I'm working on it as a gift. It will be part of a stocking. And I have gotten about this far on it. My hand behind it. I actually got a little teeny start, if you can see it, on the wing. Finished the tree. It's just a random thread. Finished the tree. I haven't gone back up and worked with the, see if I can find it here without really looking. Nope, I can't. Mostly because I'm digging in the wrong project bag. This stuff. Whisper. Very annoying. Looks great, but very annoying to work with. And so that is supposed to be, pretty sure I complained about this in a previous video. The fur on her hat here, and there's a pom-pom, and then there's fur around her wrist. I'm going to save that for later. It was kind of driving me nuts when I was trying to work on it. So that's the progress on this one. I don't have to have it done until late fall, early fall. And then my final one is a new start. Teeny new start. Anyway, last Christmas I had requested a few patterns, and I was gifted, the Spawn gifted me with 3 patterns and thread and floss, and they kitted one entirely, which was the little Who's a Scared Owl by Blackberry Lane that I've shown before. But they also gave me this one. We had an absolutely amazing trip to Chicago. I think it was the summer of 2016. Spent 10 days there and just had a blast. Had an absolute blast going to the Art Institute. I got to see the Chinese terracotta warriors were at one of the museums there, and I got to see that exhibit, which was just phenomenal. So anyway, that's why I wanted this part of my stitching places to remember that I'm doing. And, I did my little Tower of London, and I did my little Edinburgh Castle, and then I have the big Edinburgh Castle to work on eventually. So anyway, I finally started this one. It's a start, believe me. Teeny. It's a teeny one, but it's a start. It counts. I am working it in the called for DMC. This fabric is just something I had in my stash. It's an even weave Jobelin, which I don't really buy anymore because I found that I like the linen better, the uneven, the slubby texture of a linen. But I believe it's a 32 count, and it's called Lamb's Wool. I'm not sure what brand it is. It was just something that the local store had. So that's my WIPs that I'm working on right now. That's 3/5 of my WIP parade. Like I said, I tend to not have a lot of WIPs. The 2 other WIPs that I have, excuse me while I reach. Have a different basket for the ones that aren't in the current rotation, small as that rotation may be. So the other 2 that I am working on, Egg Hunt by Satsuma Street. This I'm working on also as a gift for a friend. And it's really interesting. A good friend of mine posted that she just acquired a Grail pattern that she's been wanting for years. And she posted that she's always justified the cost of her stitching by making things as gifts, and that she's learning to just make things for herself. And I realized, I think I've done that a lot of the time too. Except recently, I've just kind of been like, no, this is my comfort. This is my comfort hobby for the condition of the world. But it was really interesting when I realized, thinking about that, how many things I make as gifts instead of just keeping them for myself. I make small things for myself, but I don't make big things. So, or even medium-sized things. So I'm kind of hoping that's turned around with the finish I'll show you in a little bit. But anyway, this is how far I am on this one. It's probably about a third, maybe somewhere between a quarter and a third done. Whatever that is. My brain can't parse fractions, not this early in the morning. Anyway, I'm hoping to have it done by, February or so. It is the called for DMC on pretty sure it's a 36 count linen that I bought. I bought it and kitted it from Starlight Stitchery. And so it was just a fabric that they had, probably just like a witch out or something. So that's that one. I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's not my normal style. Excuse me. Need more coffee. But I really like it, and I hope my friend likes it. If they don't, they can just give it back to me and I'll use it as a decoration. The other WIP that I have, that I keep losing the picture for because I had it right here. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, found it. Also recorded about 15 minutes of video and then realized, oh, it wasn't recording. So now I get to go back. That's okay. A little better organized this time around, I hope. Anyway, this is my other WIP that is in long-term timeout. Oop, upside down. There we go. I bought this as a kit from somebody who was destashing on eBay. It is the Butternut Road Celtic sampler. And I've talked a lot about how I don't like the alphabet part of it, and I want to replace it with something, and I've had grandiose plans about what I would do to replace it, and so on and so forth, and it's not happening. It's harder than I thought. Or at least it requires more brain power than I think maybe I have at this point to devote to it. So right now, it's probably going to stay in long-term timeout for a while, but I guess I can show you what I have actually done, which is this. So I have not started the border. That's my plan. I did pick up the correct threads for the border, and so I want to do the border here. And then I have plenty of fabric at the top because I misjudged my starting place, and I have to pull a couple of elements out of the bottom part, which is the part I really like, to make this work. So anyway, it's frustrating. I'm annoyed. It's in long-term timeout. I will finish it. I do not like to leave WIPs unfinished. A holdover from my, well, not even a holdover. It's a pet peeve of mine when it comes to fanfic. It's just like the best story and it's unfinished and hasn't been updated. And well, there was a TikTok that was crying about one that hasn't been updated since 2011, and I just laughed. My AO3 account is older than that. I mean, come on, people. Excuse me, caffeine. So anyway, that is my WIP parade, all 5 of them. Maybe I need to do a kit parade instead. I have a lot of things kitted and I'm working on that. And so that'll come into play when I talk a little bit more about haul and plans. But I do have FFOs. FFO, finally fully finished. Ta-da! It's Invierno. I am in love with the stitched piece. I am not in love with the finish. It is my own damn fault. As I was putting trying to figure out how to finish it and putting it together, I remembered all the things I hated about quilting in the end. All the little fiddly, making sure everything matches and making sure it's all even across, and it just, all the little fiddly details drove me nuts. No, not fun. I'm probably going to have to just start budgeting to have people do my finishing for me, to pay people to do it for me, because I want to be creative with the finishes. I'm not. I don't want everything just framed, but at the same time, it's easier to frame things than it is to do this. And I kept telling myself, slow down, do the stitching around the edge by hand so that you can make sure. And I just was like, no, I want it done. I want it done. It needs to be done now. So I have a finish that I am not 100% happy with. But you know what? The stitched piece is beautiful. This I hand sewed on after I realized I did not like, I don't know if you can see a little bit, the blue. I put a strip of blue in the bottom because I thought that would maybe bring out some of the blue a little better. I didn't like it. So I sewed this trim across the thing. My local needlework shop is starting to sell, I think they're Designs by Dot or something. Anyways, they're starting to sell little packages, 2 yards of finish trim, and they're like $6 a package, which is $3 a yard. But you know, it's not unreasonable for decent trim, and you're supporting a small business. So hopefully it's not like Etsy where you have to be very careful to be sure that you're actually ordering from someone who made the thing. Anyway, I really like it. I know I have Primavera and Otoño fully kitted. I have fabric and I think most of the thread for Verano. And eventually I want to have them all done and then hopefully just change them out off this same hanger. If I stick with it, I might change it to a dowel, but I also have I have the bottom piece if I need it, but I have all 4 of them done and I can just change them out because I just absolutely love these designs. And yeah, don't look at the finish. Okay, I need to start shifting some of my budget that way. So that's one of my FFOs, I'm really, really happy, like I said, with the stitched part. And if I hang it up on the right wall, the wall is dark enough that mostly all you see is the stitched part. So that works, right? My other FFO is not cross stitch at all, but it is a craft we did as a family. And we had made puffball gnomes for Halloween for sell-in. We did ancestral gnomes. We were supposed to make ancestral dolls, so we made ancestral gnomes. And then the spawn really enjoyed it, and they're like, "Oh, can we do this for Christmas?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I have spent a small fortune buying the wrong size for pom-poms, and I know I've talked about that. Buying them on Amazon, no. It was probably would have definitely been cheaper to just buy the full price ones at the local craft store. Just saying. Anyway, we got together early a couple weeks ago and made our Christmas gnomes. And these are mine, little guys, and then one jumbo size. Let me get him turned around so you can see him. These are my Christmas gnomes. They're just basically faux fur pom-poms, and then you add a little bead for the nose, and you roll up a felt, whoop, fall over, dude. You roll up a felt cone for the hat, and then add some bling, and they're done. I kind of love them. The kids had a really good time. The spawn had a really good time making them, but I think we're all gnomed out. I still have a whole bunch of fur pom-poms. I'm not sure what I'll do with them. Maybe gift them with some felt to somebody who's like, "Hey, anybody want to?" And some of the leftover trim that I have too. And just like, I have gnome kits if anybody wants them. Put them on my local Buy Nothing group maybe. So anyway, so those are my FFOs and my WIP parade. Small WIP parade. I'm a small town girl. I grew up in small towns. Did not raise my children in small towns. Nope. And we live on the left coast for a reason. Anyway, so WIPs, FFOs, haul. All right, so I was doing really well getting the haul under control. Yeah, it's kind of been my comfort. It has been my comfort thing since this whole pandemic started, and it's been fun. And I've gotten a lot of really cool patterns. And as I've been in the community longer, I'm finding more niche patterns that I really, really love. And so part of it is I'm collecting those, and patterns go out of print, you can't get them again. And I just, like if there's a chance eventually I'll work this, I'm going to get it. And then it's just nice to have the stuff and just have to remember what I have. And that kind of goes for plans too. I'll talk about that a little bit. But anyway, do not tip over the coffee. That up there. So our local cross stitch shop has been around a while, and different designers will make patterns for them, exclusives for them. And this year was their 25th anniversary. I think they got Cheeky Bird a couple years. I don't know if Cheeky Bird was one of those anniversary patterns, but it was these patterns come out and they're exclusive to the shop for a while, and then eventually they will be available to everybody. But at first you have to get them in the shop. And I have Cheeky Bird. I have a kit for it. I just haven't managed to do it. But in the meantime, they came out with this. And it's ink circles and Summer House Stitchworks and around my friends. And it's my colors. I love these patterns. I saw it and it was another one of those gimmies. I'm like, yeah, just order it for me. When they come in, I will pick it up. So they called and they're like, "The pattern's in, you want to come pick it up?" And I said, okay. I do have some things I need to get. I needed to get the trim for the options for the Invierno. So I thought, okay. And I had my computer sending me notices. I had a list. I was like, okay, we're going to do this, Lisa. I have a list. I get 2 patterns in addition to the one I'm picking up, and that's it. So I went in to get this. I picked up the finishing, the little rounds and the bells and beads and stuff while I was there. And originally I was looking for the Satsuma Street Peace and Light Hanukkah pattern, the menorah and the dove, because we have a friend who grew up in the Middle East, grew up in Israel for, well, the first few years of their lives, but they've almost always lived where there's a large Jewish community. And so Hanukkah winds up being a very cultural community event, whereas here, that's just not the case. It just isn't. So they were kind of bumming a little bit. And so we tried to help out by giving them some small gifts. We know it's not Christmas. So I made some I machine embroidered on some dish towels and some things like that and gave it to them for Hanukkah. And then I thought, wow, I finally have an excuse to make this gorgeous pattern that I've loved it ever since I first saw it, but not my religion, not my holiday. So I didn't really feel that I had an excuse to make it. Well, now I do. So I thought, all right, I went in and I'm picking up this. I'm going to get the Satsuma Street, except they didn't have it. Okay, fine. They didn't have it. So I picked out my two patterns, my trim and stuff, and these were the two patterns I got. I got Tudor ermine, because who doesn't need a Tudor ermine? And then it has the little red scarf. It's so cute. So I picked up this one, and I picked up this one because I love it, and it goes with my general astronomical theme where I'm working the solar system ones and whatnot. Then I was all set to go, and I was leaving. I thought, oh, wait. So will you order the Satsuma Street Peace and Light for me because you don't have it on the shelf? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. And so they start to write down my order. And ordering from the shop is nice because then I don't have to have the ongoing, eternal internal debate about PDF or hard copy. I really prefer hard copies, but PDFs are nice because you have them and you don't have to worry about losing them. And I do tend to, I'll either copy or scan a lot of my hard copies. You buy but anyway, it is an internal debate that is ongoing in my head. I don't know how to explain it, just except I like the feel of the paper. I like the feel of the printed patterns. Anyway, so I turn around, I'm like, would you order this for me? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they start to write it down. And the shop owner comes in. She's like, no, we just got a box. We just got a box. Look. So in D&D parlance, I succeeded on my will save in going to the store. Did good. There was an attack of opportunity as I exited my square, and I failed. So, but I have the pattern. I'm hoping I'll get it done for them for next Hanukkah. We'll see. We shall see. So that was some of my haul. And then like I said, I've been picking up the little trims. They're all put away in my cross-stitch finishing box. I don't know if people really want to see those or not. So anyway, I got those and I got this. And then I have picked up, I went back in a couple last week because I had ordered, as soon as I heard this was out, I ordered it. And this time I succeeded on my will save, and there were no attacks of opportunity on the way out. So I picked up this one because one of my goals this next year is I have several polar bear patterns, and I have, where is it? Come here. I have, see my Santa Yeti? This was the year I was looking for fair trade ornaments and so on and so forth. And I wound up ordering Santa Yetis from Nepal. I think they're hilarious. I love it. Anyway, so I have this polar bear. It's not a Teresa Winsler pattern, though it is very much in her style, from an old cross stitch and country crafts magazine that I did back in my first round of iteration of cross stitch life. And I have several other polar bear ornaments. I don't tell people I collect them because then everybody will buy you one every year, and I don't necessarily want, well, as you can see by looking at my tree, I don't want all the same ornament. Our tree is eclectic. This is just a braided piece of yarn that the youngling did one time. He just sat down and started finger knitting and got all done with it. And he's like, hey, Mom, look what I made. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, what do I do with it? And we looked at it and was like, it was a thing that kept him busy for an afternoon. And I was like, oh, hey. And so it wound up on the tree, and now it's part of my tree trimming. Don't ask me why. But it's cute, and I like it. So I also picked up this Lindy Stitches polar bear. I'm not enamored of the windows in the house, but I like the rest of it. So I'm probably going to like just ignore the windows or maybe do them a little differently, not so they don't look like eyes. But so I picked that up, picked up polar bear pack. And that's most of the haul. I have picked up some online patterns. I picked up this one. See if I can get it so you can see it. There it is. Winter Fox, which is in competition currently with this one as to which I will make for a stocking for a family member. I was originally planning on using this one. Then I saw this one and the kawaii. Am I saying that correctly? Kauai is hard to deny in this one. And so I've picked up that one. I also picked up, let's see if I can find them. I picked up this one, Galactic Galliard by Tempting Tangles. And then I've also picked up, let me find it. Load, come on, you can load. Hello. Come on. This one from Patricia Alkin on Etsy, which is just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I'm not sure when I'll work that one. The Galactic Galliard, that actually goes into plans because as I'm kitting things up that I want to work on, Galactic Galliard is like at the very top of the list. And I'm thinking, I don't know that it'll be my solstice start. I think, okay, some plans now. I'm going to be starting this one on solstice just because I have him kitted. I love it. I want to get my polar bears going for next year. I want more polar bear ornaments for Christmas. So I think that's going to be my solstice start. And if not, it will be Galactic Galliard. I will be working this one in the called for DMC. It was right here. There he is. And then I got all of the trim and stuff. And then I bought this fabric, which is a 32 count linen from To Die For Fabrics on Etsy. I think that's a really cool color. And it goes pretty well with the pattern itself. And then if that doesn't come through, I have Mystic Fabrics Olympia, which kind of looks like a gray winter's day. So it'll be one of those two, probably the light blue. And I'm going to start that one. And I'm also going to start Galactic Galliard. And that will be worked on. I ordered the called for, they're all Weeks Dye Works colors for that one because it's so pretty. I wasn't going to try to switch those out. As you can see, these are the colors. I think I just dropped one. Originally, I couldn't get one of the colors, and so that's what this DMC is on here for, but I was able later to get the colors, the right color in the Weeks. So that's Galactic Galliard, and that I'm going to be working on a 36 count Picture This Plus Phantom, which I really like. And that I'm planning to start New Year's Day. Part of the reason I'm waiting to start that one is that I have an order coming in from Embroidery in Russia. And I blame it on my friend. She was like, "Oh, have you ever ordered from them?" She was showing a picture of a kit that she had finished from them. "If you ever ordered from them, they're really cool." And they did da 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 da. And I thought, "Oh yeah, that's right. I think I've looked there before." And I went to see, and they had a polar bear. It was really cute. And because it's interesting because the Baltic area and like Scandinavia and northern Europe, and particularly that just kind of whole northeastern bowl, was Christianized so much later than the rest of Europe. Their fairy tales and folk tales and whatnot tend to be closer to the original European pagan roots, and it's really fun to see the differences. And then plus it's just a different culture than Western Europe. But a lot of it is that it doesn't have the overlay of Christianity on it that so much of Western Europe has because Christianity did come there so early. And so it's just really fun to see. And so their pictures are a little different and their myths are I think they're a little sharper. They bite a little harder maybe than some of the softer Christianized versions. So anyway, I ordered that kit. It has been shipped. It will be here soon. But one of the things I found on their website was okay, I'm going to pause for a minute and see if I can find. Okay, so the whoop, that's the wrong one. Where'd it go? It switched pages on me all of a sudden while I was loading. So this is the Owl Forest embroidery pattern, if you can see that. Much more regular, doesn't have problematic Bible verses. The other one is, come on. This one is definitely more creative and I like it. I like them both, but I figured I'd see which one I liked better, probably wind up eventually working both of them, or I might just pull some of the motifs off of the Russian one and put it in the Galactic Galliard if I need things to fill in where my Carl Sagan quote doesn't fit, because I will not won't do the verse. I will put in a Carl Sagan quote. I think that'll be easier to make fit than the very narrow band of the sampler. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So Galactic Galliard is kitted. Winter Bear by Nora Corbett is kitted. I'm also in the process of kitting this one, Aspen Mandala. I've got the couple of the colors. It's all Gentle Arts sampler threads colors, and two of the colors have been out of stock for a while, and then finally Starlight Stitchery got one of the colors in that's missing, and so they had all the rest. So I thought, okay, I'm going to order those while I can. So that's coming, and then I'm hoping the other color will turn up eventually, but it's not one that I need more than one skein of, and I can probably maybe hopefully substitute something. So I'm working on kitting this one. I've ordered the fabric for it is Winter Solstice from Mystic Fabrics, and I've ordered that. And so that's on the way. And then I have also ordered some different fabric. And I have things scattered all around me on the floor here because I wanted to film with the Christmas tree behind me. I don't like the Aida cloth that the prehistoric cross stitch came with. And so I ordered some fabric to see if that'll make a nice substitute. I looked at the cross stitch store when I was there last, and they didn't have anything that really was like, yes, yes, me. So I picked up another Mystic fabric, and that'll come in with the thread from Starlight Stitchery down in Corvallis, and we'll see. Hopefully that will work. So those are the ones Galactic Galliard, Winter Bear. I have the two stockings that I'm supposed to be doing, and then I'm not sure when I'll get around to Aspen Mandala. That one is very much associated with my father, with my dad, and I'm not gonna, I don't know. I want to work it at some point, but that's not really high on my list. And then Galactic Galliard, the Winter Bear, the stockings. I'm not sure what else I was thinking of. I guess this kind of feeds into plans. So I am so much an out of sight, out of mind person. It's a real struggle for me to keep things both organized and yet in sight. I wind up with chaos, which I create in chaos. I do. But at the same time, the chaos can get overwhelming if I have too many things going on. And I just have things piled because if it's out and I see it, I remember that it's there. If I'm not too overwhelmed to work on it, because whatever the project is so crowded with all the projects. So I'm trying to find, that was one thing where these clear pocket organizer bags are so wonderful. And I really like these canvas ones. I have expanded my collection of the handmade ones because, some of them are just too pretty, right? And I'm all down for the pretty. And like this one, I have all of my little Halloween kits and patterns that I want to work in it. And that way I know where they all are. And so that kind of helps me keep it front of mind. And these are my Mill Hill kits that I basically always have to put in my cart and then take out before I buy. I really want to make these too. So I'm trying to find ways and that's one of the plans with kitting things, is that hopefully it's less tempting to just buy new things. I'm not sure it's working, but we'll see. We'll see. This is my list of kits as of the end of October. Oh no, that's my list of WIPs. Sorry. I had another list in here that was all my WIP. There they are. This is my list of kitted projects as of about the end of October. I think I need to update it and see what I've got, because there's little things I forgot that I kitted. It's like my little Educated Bent Creek pattern and some of the other things. But and when I remember to check it, I use the cross stitch. I'm not sure if people are aware of it. It's the cross stitch app. So yeah, it's just cross stitch, and it has a journal. Let's see if you can see that, which is where you put the projects you're working on. It has a place to keep charts and patterns and linens. But really what I keep in it is I keep my thread and my charts and what I've kitted and what I've started. And that, you've got don't know if you can see this. The phone glare, I think, is a bit much. Okay. It has a wish list, kitted, started, finished, and all. And so that's where everything is. And then I've got all my kitted patterns in here for what I want to work on, and then including the kits that I've bought. But I also am trying to keep lists other places because I live and die by lists. I really, really do. If I want to get things done, I make a list. It might be in my head. I might have to write it down. Um, I don't do habit trackers per se, but I do use lists to help me remember things that I want to do more of. And so that's kind of been that's my goal for this next year, is to focus on starting the things I have and maybe slow down a little on the haul. But there are worse habits. There really are. And my plan, let's see, immediate plans are to finish This'll Do, work on Pretty Little Chicago. Solstice start will probably be Winter Bear. New Year's start will probably be Galactic Galyard. And then long-term plans are to keep kitted projects more in the front of my mind and not be distracted by all the shiny that comes my way. Here's hoping. A few comments since it's the end of the year, kind of do a wrap-up post. My goal at the beginning of this year was follow through and complete things I started. And actually, I'm pretty pleased with how I've done. I finished the Grand Spawn stocking. They were really thrilled with it. They loved it. I finished other projects. I haven't quite finished everything because, like, I still have my little Edinburgh and Tower of London to frame up, but I also think I know how I want to frame them, and that helps. And then I just really feel like I've done a good job with that. In terms of the cross stitch journal, I was so excited to start at the beginning of the year. Some of it has really worked, and I really like it. The day-to-day record keeping, more of a miss than a hit. I was saying hit and miss, but no, it was much more of a miss. Monthly stitching plans, sometimes that worked, sometimes that didn't. It kind of depended. I think it will work a little bit better if I'm not trying to keep track of the daily hours. Because it's like, how many hours did you stitch on this project? Hundreds. I'm a slow stitcher. It takes me a long time. And I was trying to use it to help me get an idea of how long it takes me to finish something. And then I realized I don't really care. I can just try to finish. I just like finishing things. And I'm just going to go on until I finish. The Flosstube tracker, I do like. That's definitely going to stay. The general list of WIPs, when they're started, when they're finished, that'll stay. Actually, most of this will stay, just not the daily, hourly record keeping. This is a stitching record, when you started, when you finished, what threads you used, what fabric you used, and so on. I really like that part. I think that's fun. And then it has like a fabric stash list and some other stuff, which I haven't really kept up to date on. That seems a little, I don't know, a little fiddly because I don't feel like I have that much fabric. Then again, I have an entire small drawer filled with fabric in my little Alex chest in there that I keep my machine embroidery stuff in. So maybe I should start tracking that too. Who knows? It's easier just to pull it out and look at it. I'm such a visual, tactile person that it's easier when picking a fabric rather than looking at a list. It's like, I want to pull it out and spread it out and look at it all. So, but overall, I think that keeping the journal has been a success. I don't like spiral bindings, and a lot of the printed, published ones, cross-stitch journals seem to be spiral. And so that might be my only complaint, is that, you can tear pages out, you can lose pages from this, but it's worked pretty well, and I've managed to keep up with it most of the year. I've kept up with it at least as well as I keep up with my personal planner tracker thing that's really loosey-goosey and mainly just consists of the days of the week and whatever lists of things I'm trying to keep track of and, remember to do for that week. So, but yeah, overall, I feel like it's been a really good year. And, okay, I think that's about it as far as cross stitch goes. Did WIPs, did my very brief WIP parade. Talked about kitted, talked about plans, talked about haul. I think we're good on the cross stitch. So if that's what you're here for, thank you. Feel free to go do whatever it is you're doing on for me on a Sunday or Sunday morning. Have fun, stitch happy, keep posting. I love seeing I love all the enabling that comes from being on Instagram and watching Flosstube, which, by the way, small confession, I haven't watched anybody's Flosstube this month. I'm sorry. I'm probably not going to catch up. I'll probably just start from where I'm at and try and go forward. And I try to comment and let people know I've been watching, but I don't always manage that either. So I apologize. I'm going to try and do better this next month or so next year. It's a little weird having someone living with me when I'm watching it. I don't know why. I think it's too many years of living with someone who we'll just say had some disdain for my hobbies and whatnot. Whereas the spawn that's living with me, they're like, I watch my types of things, I watch my D&D podcasts and whatnot. So what's the difference between that and your floss tube? Not a lot, actually. Clicky clack dice, math rocks, dice goblins. I'm a pattern goblin. I'm a dice goblin and I'm a pattern goblin. Hey, we figured that out. Anyway, I want to show you a couple of costumes for my that I made for a couple of my BJDs now. I can't remember which BJDs I've really talked about, and so I'm going to tell a little bit about the dolls themselves. But the first one, she was the first large BJD I bought, oh my God, 12 years ago when I first got into the hobby. Her name is Timulin. I think I'm saying that correctly. The accented syllables are different in Mongolian than they are in English and in most Latin and Romance languages. And so it takes me a little bit to remember, but it's in English, we would say Timulin, but I think it's Timulin. And she's named after Chinggis Khan's little sister. And I think maybe one of his daughters had that name as well. But anyway, the head sculpt is a B&G Aurora. And my original plan was, given the name, to make her historical Mongolian outfits. And obviously that has not come to pass because I was intimidated by the outfits. It took me a while to find patterns that I could work with and to feel like my pattern drafting skills were up to the task because I have to draft all these patterns myself and I hate drafting patterns. But eventually she wound up wearing a lot of period clothing, and period clothing for her is, I have a couple of 1950s outfits that I've made that I really like on her. And then also, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Anime Wong, who was a movie star in the 20s, late teens, early 20s. She was I think, the first Chinese American movie actress in the US. And so she kind of does clothes like that too. This particular dress, I don't know if you can see the whole thing, is modeled on an outfit that Clara Bow, who was the it girl in the early 1900s, in terms of movies and whatnot. And so this pattern is from one of those dresses. And it's a company called Adams Harris Designs, and she does wonderful historical designs. But I was really, really pleased with how this dress came out. So that's her Christmas togs, and I knit the little stole that she's wearing too. So that's Timolin. I did not make her necklace. A friend of mine locally has a Etsy store where she makes and sells jewelry for people in BJDs. And you may notice, I can't remember if I explained, she's missing a finger. She tripped and fell. I have a habit of letting my dolls face plant. It's a bad habit. Don't do it. And her finger broke off, and I was all bummed. But then I realized, if she grew up riding horses on the plains, it's entirely possible that she accidentally lost a finger when it got caught between a rope and the saddle horn, or, there's all kinds of reasons. As a person who spends a lot of time on horses, you might be missing a finger. And I just decided that's what happened. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's Timolin. And I'm still searching for the perfect era shoes for this outfit. These are pretty close. Doll shoes can be really difficult. They're A, very expensive because they're very difficult to make, and B, my aesthetic doesn't tend to be the dominant aesthetic, and so sometimes I really have a hard time finding things I like. But I really, really just love her. Usually she has a black bob wig that she wears, but she hasn't been in this wig in a while, and it's my favorite wig for her, so I just left her in it for this Christmas. So she's all dressed up. I'm off this next week. Today, I'm going to make a list of what I want to get done, because otherwise I will get nothing done if I don't have a list. At least even a vague list, a general list of things to do. But I might try and take some Christmas pictures of all my dolls, because almost everyone is in Christmas clothes at this point, and I do have doll-sized Christmas trees and lights and things that I could do. So we'll see if I get that ambitious. This is Madea. Madea was my Grail doll for a long time. I first saw her back when I first got in the hobby, 2009, 2010. And I fell in love with her, but at the time I was still in a little bit of sticker shock in terms of how expensive these dolls were. And I also did not have the budget that I have now. And the company went out of business almost right away. Or, well, not almost right away. After I found her, fell in love with her, the company went out of business. And so I'll never get my doll. She was my Grail doll. Well, couple years later, 3 years later, I had just gotten a full-time job. I'd gotten hired. I was out of grad school, had graduated, was not working in my field, was not working a job that actually even paid that much. I wouldn't have survived on it if I hadn't been married with a spouse who had a spousal unit who had a decent salary. But I was, it's like, oh, I want something to celebrate getting a job. I'm going to get a doll. And I just randomly Googled to see if she was available. And lo and behold, a little doll shop in Maryland had one on the shelf. I was just like, oh. So she came home. This is not the default face up, which is the default is the face up that the company will put on the dolls. And a lot of times those are pretty good. I'll go ahead and just order the doll with default face up. Other times I don't. She did come with the default face up, but I eventually paid to have it removed and gave her this Jean Shrimpton looking face up because she was supposed to be my medieval girl or historical, which is where her name comes from, Madea. She was supposed to be the one I dressed up in historical clothing and, maybe put her in a toga, and because Madea was framed. Well, she wasn't framed, but she's misunderstood to say the least. Anyway, when I got her, she was just like, no, she wanted 1960s clothes, 1960s mod, as hopefully comes across by everything, the Jean Shrimpton, the hair, the beret, the peace necklace. And the only piece of her outfit that I actually made is this jumper, this little jumper that she's wearing. But jumper is the American term. I know that in English, the jumper would be a sweater. In England, English, but British English. But this is a jumper, and I made this for her, and I'm very proud of it. Again, another Adams Harris pattern, which once I get them fitted to my dolls are really wonderful. It's just BJDs are not all the same size by any means. They have general similarities in their proportions, but when you're fitting something this tightly, it can be problematic. And I've done other stuff for her. But anyway, this is Madea, her little Jean Shrimpton face and her little beret, her little 1960s, hopefully British, little bit British mod, little bit 19th, because I'm a child of the late, I was a small child in the late 60s and early 70s, and that just seems to be the aesthetic that's stuck in my head in terms of the colors on my walls and whatnot, but also I really like this. And she's got these amazing the platform heels. I don't know if those are period at all, but I just kind of love these boots. So anyway, that's Madea in her little, mostly Christmas outfit. She actually has a red lace dress I put her on in if I get, don't fall over. If I get around to dressing her for Valentine's Day, I actually have a fitted A-line red lace dress that I've made for her. Just, I probably wouldn't show you the back on that one because the back is a little wonky. She actually has a dowager hump, which took me forever to figure out when I was trying to fit dresses on her, but she actually has a dowager hump on her back. And it's like, oh, once I figured out how to sort of compensate for that, it was easier to fit patterns on her. But again, I hate pattern drafting, so I really haven't been sewing much for the dolls lately, except for the ones that I can make like some tentish medieval clothes for. Then it's a little more fun. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's all from here. I hope you have a wonderful winter holiday, whatever holiday you're celebrating. If it was Hanukkah or Diwali or Eid, or if it's Kwanzaa or Yule or whatever, Christmas. We celebrate Christmas very secular, but we just kind of love it. It's always been a favorite holiday, and I love decorating for it. I don't do the whole house, but I do lights and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm very much looking forward to the next week. I have off, just hanging out in the house, lighting some candles, listening to the cold rain, and doing a lot of stitching, I hope. A lot of stitching. So that's my plan for the holiday. And then time with family and friends, of course. So I hope your holiday is wonderful. It will be, and happy stitching. And I will probably talk to you probably around the new year, maybe later. We'll see. Take care. Bye.